What's going on, guys? Velocity Crew here, and I don't know what's going on, but the channel's kind of got a lot of attention the past few weeks. I think that Z video I did with the aftermarket renders is up to like 40,000 views. The channel is up to like 350 subscribers. I don't know what's going on, but the old saying of striking while the iron is hot definitely applies here because we are going back to Instagram. The internet does not disappoint, and there are some awesome new Nissan Z Proto or 400Z renders that I found in the past couple days that I think are pretty worth sharing, so I think you guys will like it. With that said, become a part of the crew. Since it's Velocity Crew, should that be my dumb saying? Join the crew! Subscribe today if you haven't. Give this video a thumbs up if you like what you see, and just leave a comment on what you think about these renders. There was definitely some interesting comments on that last video with the aftermarket renders, and I'm curious to see what you guys think about this one. And if you haven't seen that first video yet, definitely go take a look because I do like a little intro to the Z Proto if you haven't really seen much about it yet. And then I get into what people thought the aftermarket mods were gonna look like. And it's kind of like the first week impressions. This video is about 3 to 4 weeks after that. So I'll leave a description in the link. I'll leave a link in the description below so you can easily get to it. And then you can come back to this one because there's a lot more renders in this one, so you kind of get the full continuity. So thank you so much for all the support. Now let's get to it. All right, boys and girls, we're gonna start this one off light with a natural kind of in the wild spotting by Ken M. Saito in Japan of the Z with some rain on it and some spectators around. Maybe kind of how like we would have seen it if it was at an auto show. Wyatt Co-Design literally giving the front end a facelift. Not sure how I feel about this one. This one looked like it went from to Cam Clutch coming in with what he calls a Rocket Bunny render, which for Rocket Bunny, I think this is kind of tame, but I still think it looks pretty cool, especially in this like Nardo gray looking color. I dig this one. N16 Addiction with something that looks a little bit like a modification of the prior Nismo body kits we saw. It kind of gives me this like RC car vibe sort of situation. Next up, we have Chuckles Design, who says if they didn't have 45 cents to their name, this is what their Z would look like. Well, Chuckles, I'm rooting for you. Hopefully some people see this and they hit you up for some designs of their car. And next up, another illustrator, Regular Bloke, went back to good old 2000 with some major Fast and Furious vibes with his Veilside body kit on the 400Z. Motor1.com taking another stab at the 400Z Nismo. I think this one looks pretty good compared to the last one that they did. I did show that one the other video I did, but I think the bumper comes together a lot nicer. It's got some more pronounced aero, and it looks pretty high quality. I like this one. And by the way, guys, they just keep getting better from here, so buckle up. Yeah, it's beautiful. Flat Hat 3D with what he calls a Pandem A90, which is a Supra body kit inspired 400Z, and good God, just look at this thing. It's just beautiful. And by the way, Flat Hat 3D makes quite a few appearances in this video. Next up, we've got Brad Builds, who also makes a couple appearances on this list, but as a 240Z owner, he loves the resemblance of this car, and he just had to do his own wide body. And also noted that the canvas of the 400Z really leaves endless possibilities for future modifications. Let's hope that's true because I really like what I'm seeing. And then we have Cyberrun, and are you kidding me? Look at this cyberpunk hill climb themed 400Z. I don't care how many colors it is. This thing looks so awesome. Look at it, it's got a wing bigger than the Senna GTR. This thing's crazy. Look at the wheels, look at how they poke out, the rims. This is awesome. Good job. Next up, we've got Joda Automotive with just another wide body kit with some pretty interesting body lines and the red katana on the body accent. I love this rear end. It gives me a lot of 300ZX vibes with that ducktail. It looks awesome. And the wheels, it's like this 3-spoke, multi-dimensional, kind of retro but modern take. I think if I saw this car in real life, I'd definitely snap a picture. It looks pretty awesome. Then we have just another epic Super GT style render by Flathead 3D. Bro, I don't know who at Nissan pissed you off that you gotta show them up 100 times over, but good God, this looks so awesome. This has to be one of my favorite renders thus far, and I hope someone takes this idea and turns it into a reality, because I mean, just look at this thing. It definitely has true race car proportions, but you could probably kind of make it streetable if you just raise it up a little bit or put a pretty aggressive air suspension on it. Well done. And then we're back to Brad Builds with a Retro Z render with the old, kind of like the old Datsun riveted on wider fender flares, and the first time that we're seeing this shotgun style exhaust, which the more I see it, I think it looks pretty cool. We're probably gonna see this in the future. Some exhaust company will have to do this kind of vertical stack setup. I think it looks cool. And while we're on Brad Builds, let's show another angle. Same design with the Watanabe wheels, but just a different livery. And if you notice, a lot of these renders, they're, again, not touching the front end. So I think the reception of that front end, I think it's grown on people. And you thought he was gone. My boy Yasid Design coming with another 2 renders. I think he said this is like the 4th design that he's done, and he hates it. Yeah, he hates it. Yasid, I think a lot of the internet would disagree. These are just wild, but it's fun. It's fun to see where the imagination goes with some of these, because you know someone's gonna do it. Just do it! And then we've got John Seibel back at it again, this time with a Fast Lady Z, as he calls it. This is probably the most race car inspired or race car like render that we've seen. So yeah, I think it looks pretty aggressive and a little more so than Flathead 3D that we saw a little earlier in the video. And speaking of Flathead 3D, again with well, this is going to be interesting. A design inspired by, remember Katassi 935Z, who did a render of the Z Proto with a 935 Porsche race car front end. Well, it turns out this was not a one-off render. Katassi 935Z actually has a 350Z with that front end, so Flathead 3D was inspired by this design and this pretty unusual modification, which actually I gotta give props. The car actually exists, so props to all of you, and now you know it's not a one-off, it actually exists. And then we've got Arnold Design with one of my favorite, just very subtle but impactful modifications to this car. It's just, to me, this is one of the cleanest examples, and the coolest thing is he actually animated it kind of moving, and the inspiration behind this was from a anime, or rather a manga, called Wangan Midnight. So it actually has some history behind it, but again, I think this is one of the just cleanest renders, and I hope somebody builds this one day. So before we get into the weird stuff, because you know I had to give you a couple weird ones, we've got a full Veilside body kit interpretation by an artist named Hokami, who claims that they are a newbie at Photoshop, but I beg to differ here. Anyway, my favorite part about this one is the rear end of the car, where you've got the wide body kit and this spoiler with, it looks like a kind of like an extra aero piece that goes to the rear window. I think that would look pretty cool in real life, but yeah, I think this is a pretty cool render too. Alright guys, I'm warning you. The next ones are pretty weird, but up until this point, if you've liked the video, please give me a thumbs up, and subscribing really helps the channel. So again, I really appreciate all the support, and I guess I can't stall anymore. Let's get into the weird stuff. I don't know who made this, and I really don't want to know who made this, but we've got a Nissan Z Proto crossover SUV with what looks like a Sentra rear end. I don't know, the article's calling it a crossover SUV, but yeah, I'm out on this one. Definitely weird, don't want it. Next up, we've got Lego 911 with a Lego Nissan Z Proto, which I guess we wanted a render for this. I mean, it's funny on his post, people asking when it's going to be available in stores. Definitely weird, probably took some time, but impressive nonetheless. And if I wanted to be a real troll, I would say, ooh, look, there's a picture of the engine of the car, but it's Legos. And then we've got Rain Prisk with the Shooting Brake Z Proto. I guess, would this be the Shooting Z? I don't know, but the funny thing is the katana, that trim piece on the back of the car, it's not curved anymore, it's just straight because it's not a wagon, it's technically a shooting brake with this kind of sloping design. So that's pretty cool. And last but not least, once again from Rain Prisk, the weirdest render I've seen so far is the Nissan Z Proto Safari Edition with a tent on top. This thing looks like it's ready for the Dakar Rally. I mean, you can pretty much take this thing off-roading however you please, and it will do the job. This is so hilarious. And of course, again, internet, you all remain undefeated. You have safaried and shooting braked and turned into an SUV crossover, the 400Z. So congratulations. Alright guys, well that concludes today's video. Hopefully you've got your fix of 400Z aftermarket mod renders. The video that none of us knew we needed, but the one we're all glad we got. So anyway, again, just want to thank you guys for all the support. Hopefully you enjoyed the video. Definitely leave a comment below and let me know what you thought. Did you love the renders? Did you hate them? And go watch other videos on the channel because I've got a ton of ideas in my own pipeline that I plan to make videos for and release in the coming weeks and months. So thanks again for all the support, and I'll catch you guys later. Peace.